Hi, I'm James. I'm an attorney by profession, but when I'm not in the courtroom, my passion is film photography. My first exposure to photography was definitely my father. He's been shooting, started with film, now he shoots digital. It's kind of funny because he's trying to get me to actually start shoot digital. He actually bought me a digital camera that sits on a shelf and I haven't used it yet. And every day he's like, have you shot that camera yet? And I refuse to go digital. I just love film photography so much. But growing up, he was always behind that camera. Everywhere we went, he was taking photos of us. And a few years back, I got a hold of, do you remember those Kodak carousels that you would put slide film on? He would shoot mostly Kodak Ektachrome. And so we'd have hundreds, he has hundreds of slides going back from the late 60s up to the mid 80s. And so I got a hold of all those slides. I started scanning them. I bought a scanner and then I put movies together, and going through that, seeing myself in the photographs and just reliving those memories and those emotions and of those years, seeing ourselves on film was really something special. And I hadn't really done photography myself until really I started about 4 years ago. And it was primarily film. Trying to recapture that feeling, and that's how I really started. I shot my first roll of film. I had ideas that I was going to be kind of a street photographer. I had seen people out there with online and social media shooting whether digital or film, but going out and capturing things, and I thought, that looks really cool and I want to do that. So I got a hold of a used Olympus OM1 film camera, broken light meter, so I was learning Sunny 16 rule, how to read light, and I went around and just started taking photos. And what was really great about shooting film for me was not knowing if any of the shots I was taking were going to come out in the end. The thing that I like the most about the way film comes across, well, it's a couple things. One is imperfections in film. That there are times when, of course, I look at something and I'm like, oh, that's messed up. Why is there so many scratches? What did I do when I developed this stuff? And then, or is that dust? How'd that get on there? I thought I was so careful. But then that builds a certain character, I think, to the image. And there was a time when I would get it in Lightroom and I was trying to get every little speck of dust off. And then I came to the point where I thought, you know what, that actually adds something so unique to the image that I wanted to keep it. And so now, unless it's something super major, and even then I have some bombs that actually have come to grow on me that I think, wow, those imperfections that you get from film that are so unpredictable make it beautiful to me and unique. I love digital. There's some amazing stuff happening with digital images, but you can't recapture that. You can't duplicate those unexpected imperfections that film delivers. My vision as a photographer is it's in the works. I'm trying to still work on defining who I am or who I'm going to be. What I really want to shoot are people, strangers. Like, if I could just get over this kind of, I don't know what to say, a shyness, somewhat timid, and just go up to strangers. There's so many people I see, and I want to just say, hey, you've got a beautiful face. Or, I love this outfit that you've got on right now. Can I take your photograph? And I just, for whatever reason, I can't do it. So most of my stuff is, I love having people in my photos, but they tend to be at a distance, maybe from the side, it's candid stuff. But I'd really like to do environmental portraits on the street, people, and just maybe hear their stories, because I like to write too. I would love to learn more about the person. I definitely prefer film photography. And for me, it's the whole process. The look is something that's special, I think, with film, the imperfections in the film, the fact that you have to wait until you get it to see what comes out. But it's everything for me. It's the entire process of loading it. It's real tactile, loading it, advancing it, moving your settings, and then developing the film. I develop my black and white and my color film. I'm not gonna lie, scanning is a pain in the ass, but other than the scanning, every single aspect of shooting film, I love it. And then you add to that the look that film gives you, and for me, you can't beat it. I've seen some pretty convincing film presets. I know Fujifilm does some great stuff with their digital presets, and it looks pretty good. And I don't know if it's just a product of my inexperience, I'm not confident I would pass the test if they put two images next to me and said, pick the digital versus the film photo, because they're so good. So yeah, you can recreate it, I guess the ultimate look, and if what you're going for is just the ultimate film look, then more power to you, you can do that. For me, it's more than just the look at the end. I do have a different mindset when I shoot film than when I shoot digital. And of course, my digital images are largely limited to my cell phone. With film, my mindset is more of, I guess I see the world differently when I'm carrying around a film camera. I'm sure there's some digital photographers that feel the same way. That the thing about photography in general is it teaches you to see the world differently. You notice details that you didn't notice before. You see beauty in places that I think a lot of people just take for granted or walk past, and it's a beautiful thing. And with film, it makes you slow down that much more because you're really thinking, I've got limited film in this camera and I want to make the photo count, and is that what I want to capture? And I'm trying to not be so stingy with my film and just shoot it. If money was no object, all the resources available to me, and it was a film project, what I would love to do is set up some sort of place where I can get cameras with film into the hands of people that would never be able to afford it, right? People that aren't even thinking about shooting film from all different walks of life, and have them shoot it, talk to them about it, get it, develop it for them, have slideshows for them or movies together for them, and just turn them on to the beauties of film. Favorite film stock, that's a tough one. You know, I guess the common wisdom is pick a film stock and pick a theme or a subject matter and stick to it. I hear that a lot. And define yourself, get your own look. That's not me. Maybe that'll be me someday, but right now I love so many different film stocks. I love so many different cameras. I love different things that I just shoot all different kinds of things. But if I had to pick, let me say favorite black and white and favorite color. So favorite black and white, I really love the cinematic look that you get from like an Eastman XX. It's a beautiful film. Cinestill has something similar. It's their BW XX. I love that film. And with color, I've fallen in love with Lomography Metropolis. It's so weird. There's like a weird cast, this bluish tone. The reds really pop. It's not realistic at all, but then again, neither is black and white, right? We don't see in black and white, and I absolutely love it. So Metropolis is definitely high up there. You know, I'm fortunate, and I have a lot of fantastic cameras. One medium format camera that collects dust on my shelf, but it's a beauty, even if it's dusty. And then my favorite 35mm camera, and that's primarily what I shoot, is a Nikon FM3A. It's what I have with me now. It's usually I have a Voigtlander lens on it. I have the 58mm 1.4. It's an amazing lens, an amazing camera. I haven't had anyone come up to me other than my father and try and convince me not to shoot film. The actual reaction I get is more of a, wow, is that a film camera? And a curiosity, a lot of times people go, oh, I remember, and they start telling me stories, and that's pretty cool, and I enjoy talking to people. I find myself, if I'm walking around and I see someone with a film camera, I want to go up and talk to them. It's just this urge. I feel like an instant connection with them. But people coming to me, it's always been a positive affirmation of what I'm doing as a film photographer. The hardest part for me, and this might not make a whole lot of sense because film requires patience, right? Everything from loading it to shooting it to waiting for the development. It's scanning is the hardest part for me, especially when you get the curly film. Like I love shooting some of that Kodak Tri-X, but that stuff curls like crazy and you're trying to, I have a flatbed scanner and getting it to lay flat on that scanner is such a pain. And then waiting, it drives me crazy. I'm no longer in the process of developing or shooting, and that's where my patience has reached its end, and I just want the image at that point. I think the future of film photography is going to be more and more young people getting into it. Even just this week, today in fact, we were at lunch and a young girl hostess comes up, I don't know how old she was, but really young, came up and said, is that a film camera? Is that a disposable? And it was this little Kodak M35. It's like a plastic. It's not a disposable, but super cheap. And I said, yeah, and then I got all excited too. But that's telling me that more and more young people are looking to get into film. And I guess everyone has their theories why that is, right? And I think it's maybe for them too. Everything has been so digital and so immediate and maybe even disconnected in a sense, that film really makes you connect to your subject matter, and it slows you down and it immerses you in the whole process, and it teaches you to see in a way that you can't otherwise see. And I think maybe the young people are looking for that. And if we get enough young people with that interest, then make it profitable, right? They're still making some film stocks, we're losing some film stocks, but some company is gonna see that need and they're gonna fill it. I'm optimistic that film is gonna be around for many, 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 many years. My name is James, and I shoot film.